What's up, guys? Aaron Kirchner here. Real quick helpful hint for you. Summertime's about to be here. There's going to be a lot of bass fishing going to happen this summer, I know, for myself and for a lot of people, but I figured before we get out there, I wanted to tell you guys, you got to get out and practice. And I know we're here in Colorado. I know some of you guys aren't in Colorado that watch this videos, and you guys are lucky, but a lot of places still have ice on them here. I mean, up in the mountains, the local lake here is getting ready to open up here in the next week. But anyway, quick hint. Get out in your yard and practice. I'm going to show you how to pitch a jig real quick. Basically, there's a technique to it. I'm going to move to the other side here. You're going to take, I like to take a 6.5, 7 foot medium heavy to heavy rod like this one here. This is a Skeet Reese Wright and McGill football jig worm rod, and then a high-speed reel. The reason I use a high-speed reel is because if I catch a fish in the brush, which is where you're going to do a lot of flipping and pitching, you're going to be able to set the hook and crank that fish out of there very quickly. So the technique to flipping and pitching is this. I like to practice too with like a big half ounce, 3/4 ounce football jig or some kind of, just one of your old jigs. Cut the hook off so you don't hit your, or hook yourself. But take your front yard like I do, pick it apart, pick your yard apart, get out for 2 to 3 hours a week, maybe 2 to 3 hours a day if you got a day off, and practice. But here's the technique. You want to take your lure, your jig, put it in your left hand or your off hand, whichever hand you don't have the reel in. So for me, that's my left hand, and then I flip and pitch with my right hand. So you want to have for me, what I like to do, and it's gonna be different for everybody, but I like to have enough line out so that my lure and my reel are just about even. And then you're gonna push your release button here, and you're gonna lower the rod tip. As you lower your rod tip, turn it this way here. As you lower your rod tip, you're gonna release the lure. When you release the lure, then you raise your rod tip, and what that does is that flings the lure out, gives it momentum and speed forward, and then you're gonna just you're gonna use your thumb to feather the line. You know, as the line's coming out, you tighten and loosen. So here's what I do. Again, you push your release button, you lower the rod tip and release, and then you raise the rod tip. Okay? And then, like I said, get out there, pick apart your yard. I don't know if you guys can see me. Like, for instance, that tree right there is like I'll pretend that's my target. The other thing, too, is, guys, when you're out fishing, you're in a boat, usually you're going to be up off the water, 1.5 to 2 feet. Get yourself a 5-gallon bucket and stand on top of that and practice, and then find small spots. If you don't have tiny spots, put some cups out in the yard, some styrofoam cups or just some targets, and then basically, again, I got my line, my lure and my reel equal distance, then I just take it, lower the rod tip, release, and then I can hit the tree. I can practice doing that for a couple hours, and then you find different targets that are further out. Get to where you can really fling the lure out, very controlled, and to where it hits the ground very softly, so that when you're out on the water, it's not making a huge splash, because when you're flipping and pitching, it's actually going to enter the water very softly, be very subtle presentation, because you don't want to spook the fish. You want to put it right in there on top of them and create what's called a reaction bite. They don't see it coming, it's just there all of a sudden, and then bam, those fish will strike that lure. Okay, so again, one more time, make your lure and your reel even. Lower the rod tip, and as you lower it, release the lure, and then raise the rod tip up. One more time. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Get out, guys, practice it, have fun this summer, catch a ton of fish. Aaron Kirchner here. Subscribe to my videos, check out the blog. Thanks, guys.